Hello and welcome. On Weekend Deal this weekend, it's been all about our law enforcement agency and the multiplicity of their roles. Yesterday, we established the fact that Nigerian has so many law enforcement agencies, and the reason why the government has set up all these agencies to ensure that our society is safe and sane, calm and orderly. But the question we asked yesterday, and I'll be asking the same question today, is are these law enforcement agencies delivering on their mandate? Are they living up to why they were established? Or because there are so many, they are having some challenges? Today, the conversation continues. It is Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. My name is Patience Eloy Abba, and as you know, I am not alone. I am with
Hello, Patience. How do you do?
I'm good.
It's a pleasure to be here with you on Weekend Day, because we're riding this rodeo together, just like always. On Weekend Day, what we try to do is to bring forth expert analysis with a view to getting practical ideas that will forge forth realistic and practical solutions. We reach you every weekend on time, real time, Saturday and Sunday, just like today. We thank you immensely for being a part of the program all the time. We're going to set the tone again for our conversation, and Francis has been doing deep research to bring all the information to the fore. Let's take it.
Nigeria's law enforcement system is characterized by a multiplicity of roles played by various agencies, each tasked with distinct responsibilities. The country's law enforcement landscape has evolved over time, influenced by historical, social, and political factors.
Yes, soldiers of France, ready for taking over, sir!
Recognizing the need for change, there have been concerted efforts to reform and innovate law enforcement in Nigeria. Initiatives such as the Police Reform Act aim to address issues of corruption, lack of accountability, and inadequate resources. Structural changes, increased training, and emphasis on community policing are integral components of these reforms. Technology plays an important role in enhancing the effectiveness of law enforcement in Nigeria. The introduction of electronic database, surveillance system, and forensic technology have improved crime detection and investigation. Additionally, the use of social media platforms have facilitated communication and information dissemination, fostering a more responsive and connected law enforcement community. Public perceptions of law enforcement in Nigeria have often been marred by issues of corruption and inefficiency.
Hot guard! Handed over correctly, sir! New guard! Taking over correctly, sir!
Efforts to improve accountability include the establishment of internal affairs units within agencies and the incorporation of civilian oversight mechanisms. Increased transparency and accountability measures contribute to rebuilding public trust, which is crucial for the success of law enforcement initiatives.
May I have your permission? Carry on the rest of the passing out parade. Sir!
Ongoing efforts to enhance Nigeria's security landscape involve collaborative approaches. Engaging with local communities and addressing socio-economic factors that contribute to crime are a vital aspect of a holistic approach to security. The future of law enforcement in Nigeria hinges on sustained reforms, innovative strategies, and the integration of technology. The multiplicity of roles in Nigeria's law enforcement landscape reflect the diverse challenges the country faces. Weekend Deal today beams a satellite on the issue of multiplicity of roles in law enforcement in Nigeria.
Welcome back. I remember asking a question yesterday and I said that how do you feel when you're approaching an intersection, a big one, and you see a cocktail of law enforcement agents, all of them complete. Among these people, you would find a vehicle inspection officer, probably the VIO. What exactly are their rules on the roads? I will lead this conversation.
To ensure that we have roadworthy vehicles on FCT roads. When a motorist is flagged down, there is what is called instant inspection, where they look at that vehicle physically and dictate some of the things that are supposed to be functioning well. When they are not functioning well, it becomes a problem. You'll be asked to ensure that you put it in order. That one apart, we have what we call motor vehicle administration, where we do registration, we renew expired ones, to make sure that we keep data that reflects the number of vehicles we have in the territory. That one is under vehicle administration. We also ensure that people who drive on the road are trained. When they are trained, we supervise the training. The fact is, for a non-local, you may not understand the difference. Just like the name implies, Federal Road Safety Corps, most of the activities are supposed to be at the federal highway. That is one. Like in FCT, the Directorate of Road Traffic Services that generate revenue as one of its functions, generate revenue to FCT administration. In other states, they generate revenue to their states. So these are the differences. When people find it difficult to do what the law says, it's a big challenge. Our men, while on the road, ensure that every vehicle that is passing is roadworthy. And when you flag down a vehicle and the driver says no,
you can
he tries to run over you, it's a big challenge. We've lost many of our men because of that. Some drivers are ready to kill. Vehicle documentation, yes, many. When they buy a vehicle, they would like to register it. But there are still those that after registration, to come and renew becomes a problem. There are people, 2-3 years, they've not renewed their vehicle particulars. Even the license they drive with, they don't renew. Like people will always tell us that we are fighting rickety vehicles. that there are so many of them on the roads. The period when our men are on the road, you don't see them. Some will wake up 3 a.m., run 2 or 3 times. They'll go back around 6. That's when they suspect that our men will be on the roads. That kind 9 p.m. or 10, you see them again, just for them to make money. When somebody is driving a vehicle that doesn't have headlamp, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that that vehicle is not supposed to be on the roads. When you are driving with a vehicle during rainy season that the wiper is not working, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that that vehicle is not supposed to be on the roads. When you are driving without trafficators, you see everything about the vehicle is communication. Those trafficators you see is to tell you where you are supposed to go. Tell the person behind you where you are going. When they are not functioning, our officers will always detect it. This and more, you should have your fire extinguisher. The razor blade is important.
Interesting to go in depth. Dio, you've given us some insight into our conversation today. Now, it's time for us to introduce our guests. We have 3 of them. Let's make welcome Engineer Moses Ayibi, Head of Traffic Management Division and Control of the VIO. We'll see his profile now.
Our next guest is Dr. Kabir Adamu, CEO Beckham Consulting. He's a security risk management expert. Let's meet him virtually.
Okay, we have our 3rd guest now. Let's get to meet and welcome Engineer Maleloche. He's a friend of the house and a regular face here. He's a road transportation expert. We get to see his profile now.
You're welcome back. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the Weekend Deal Studios.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, say good morning to us. Nigerians are watching.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity.
And there's something about our new studio. You've been here before. You're seeing this for the first time. Say something now.
I'm always here.
So this studio is
a privilege being here, actually.
The beauty of our new studio I talked about.
Fantastic. I wanted to mention the fact that there's a change. So many things have changed, and that's good for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now we can have more guests.
We can have more guests. Okay, we're talking about multiplicity of roles in the law and the law enforcement agencies, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Anyebe.
Yeah.
Do you think we're having issues? Are there any challenges? Do we have multiplicity of roles? Do we have overlapping functions? Do we have all this going on among the law enforcement agents as they are now in Nigeria?
To me, I don't think we have issues of overlapping which are really problematic. Mm-hmm. We are actually out there to see that we complement each other. And if you see what we do and other sister agencies do, they are more or less like complementary. Okay. And of lately, you begin to see us work even together, not just as a single entity, but working together as a joint team to see that we achieve this aim of motor vehicle administration.
Hey, Dr. Kabir, we know you, you know us, and you've spoken expansively on several subjects related to this. But let's talk about this collaboration, because it does seem as though if the collaboration was as strong as it ought to be, we will have less gaps. But let's hear your take. You've been the expert on this matter.
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to be here. When I came in and I saw how beautiful your studio is, I was really, it was welcoming, and I must say that. At the moment, when we counted 29 different ministries, departments, and agencies that are involved in security in the country at the federal level. When we expanded it to ask ourselves who are the stakeholders, both the mandated ones and then those that are supporting them, we got 40. And as a citizen, if I have to encounter 29 or 40, sometimes I feel burdened. While we realize from an expert point of view that each of these organizations have a mandate, they were set up because there was a gap, and that gap had to be filled. So it was necessary for them to be set up. But then I remember when the Oronsonyo report looked into that issue, it realized that there were overlapping functions. It also realized that for some of them, their duties were not delineated clearly. And so you have areas where their collaboration was a bit difficult because the functions were not delineated. And so its recommendation was either to collapse some of them and merge them together with others, or in certain instances to make their functions a bit clearer.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, I need you to speak to this too. Do you think we have too many of them, too many law enforcement agents on our roads or around?
One thing is very clear, which my colleague just mentioned. If it's the fact that each of these agencies were inspired by the need to meet a gap. And to that extent, functions were defined for them. However, many of the agencies have evolved over the years, expanding their functions, encroaching into the different areas, resulting into some of the encumbrances we are seeing. That's one thing that needs to be clearly mentioned, which means a quick solution to that would be the need for streamlining of functions so that where there are overlap, it is clearly demarcated and say, no, you shouldn't do this, you should be doing this. And that can solve it. I remember the Senator Ashafa, Benga Ashafa, when he was chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, during one of these kind of functions, he mentioned the fact that there is a need to streamline functions of agencies on the road, particularly because there are overlap, obviously.
Exactly. Engineer, let's come to you. When we saw that feature, that Dio package, that gave us some in-depth feeling of what Nigerians are talking amongst themselves, I may not get to your level, is just further reiterating what we see amongst ourselves in the office and the market across families. Somebody said that when VIO stops you, they will not rest until they find a way they must collect something from you. And it gets to a point, it begins to look like their aim is to stop you from being productive for that day. We had 2 motorists speak, but we didn't get to hear from the passengers. But tell us about that. Why do we look to VIO officials on the road with trepidation, or some Nigerians anyway?
I'm sorry to just admit some of these things, but in real situations, you find some desperate ones among the VIOs, and the authority is working assiduously hard to see how we can remove those ones out of the system. But by and large, sometimes we have attitudes of Nigerians too, who always want to be on the wrong side. And so once you come in encounter with such persons, they want to generalize. But we are working assiduously hard to see that we make all these things work together. And reacting with what my colleague here just said about bringing in technology into our operations, that is what we intend to do, especially in this 2024. We have started, we've opened the self-portal for people to access some of our registrations online. You don't need to come to the office and do certain things. We want to get to that level where certain things will be communicated to you, certain violations will be communicated to you via your mobile phone or any other means. I think it is going to reduce the corruption we have just talked about, and we will be on the right pitch.
Okay, so I have so many questions for you because I have my personal questions. But let's go on a break. When we come back, the conversation will continue. Please don't go away. Don't go.
I can't wait to begin to hear what messages you've been sending to Patient, because she's so excited. And you are a keen participant of this show, and thank you for reaching out to us. She's also telling me that some Nigerians are saying that the NTA is not showing AFCON matches live. Are you in real time, brother, sister? Emmanuel, where are you? I've been watching all the Super Eagles matches and that of the entire AFCON competition. NTA is showing it live. You can count on us to do that, okay? Anytime you want to watch any match, tune to NTA. We got you. Every time. And now we're going to Yenagoa and Bayelsa State. Let's talk about the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Perhaps you've been asking, what is their role? How critical an asset are they to law enforcement agencies and the governance in Nigeria? This package will tell you more.
Security challenges the world over constitute threats to lives and properties. It is thus a major concern and crucial to peace, sustainable economic growth, and development of any nation. Over the years, Bayelsa State, like every other state in Nigeria, has been confronted with a lot of security challenges. In view of this, personnel of various security agencies have been deployed to manage the security situation in the state, one of which is the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The NSCDC's mandate is to ensure protection and safety of national assets, which are of great economic importance to Bayelsa State, Nigeria, and the world at large.
The basic function of NSCDC, as enshrined in the Act of Parliament that established us, is about protection of government critical assets. With the role of licensing, that means if you want to register as a private guard company, you must go through civil defense.
There are measures that have been kept by the NSCDC, like in the creeks, where the pipelines are there. People being what they are, once they see either AGO or PMS flowing, they go there to scoop. At the end, any little flash of fire will cause much damage to such a community. So we as the NSCDC, since it's in our mandate to protect such, we go around to sensitize people not to tamper with such. We even arrest and prosecute.
Larger parts of the national assets in Bayelsa State are located in the coastal areas. Consequently, the NSCDC security operations are mostly accessed via the waterways. However, the peculiar terrain of the state has posed serious challenges to officials of the command while discharging its national duties.
There is a saying, if you see something, say something. We actually need information from the general public. Most time they hoard this information from the security agencies, but it is a vital one that will aid us in trying to apprehend or in trying to do our job effectively.
In a bid to redouble efforts and intensify surveillance operations to surmount the challenges, the Bayelsa State Command of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is collaborating with relevant security outfits, local, state-owned and foreign, and has been able to clamp down illegal operations of theft and vandalism in the sector, a milestone of progress recorded.
In Bayelsa State, with collaboration with other surveillance contractors, we have achieved a lot in Bayelsa. Not only the surveillance contractors, we still collaborate with other sister security agencies, just like the JTF, just like the Navy, just like the Marine Police. They also assist us in trying to comb this menace that these pipeline vandals has been doing to the society.
Go to all these militant camps, because that is most of the mandate that the operation carry out with the NSCDC. Without a civil defense, Dalon security can never go operations.
Security and welfare of the people are the responsibility of government via the instituted security agencies. It is in light of this that the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Bayelsa State Command has reiterated its commitment in fulfilling the constitutional mandate of protecting national security and safety of lives and property for economic prosperity of the nation.
It is not about punching pipeline that matters. If you are caught, we will smoke you, take you out of the society. Let you go, no compromise with your, the new system will not compromise with destroyers. Zero tolerance to destruction of pipelines, and once you are caught, we will treat you as a saboteur and you will face the hands of law.
No compromise there. Engineer Emmanuel Oche is sitting all alone there. Tell me I'm leaving you people. I'm going to sit with him so that he can. I mean, he's alone. Is it fair? Should I join him? Okay, let's do this. So, Engineer Oche, make room for me. Make room for me. You're alone, and I'm not enjoying it from there.
I'm welcoming you all the way.
Okay. Okay. So, yesterday we were told that some of the policies, some of the faults we have with this establishment starts from the policies. Do you think we should look at the policies establishing these agencies again in order to rejig it? Like Engineer Dr. Shegun said yesterday, he said the society is ever evolving and we must be able to look at our policies, our laws, rejig them and make them serve us for today. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. In my first statement, I mentioned this, that there's a need to put the functions of these agencies side by side.
Yes, you said so.
So that we can understand where there are overlap. There are obvious overlap. For instance, in 1960, the Motor Traffic Division of the Police was created. The VIO came on board in 1949. FRSC came up in 1988. At that time, their functions were very clear. But over time, these functions have evolved. Circumstances have also evolved. The needs have also changed over time. So it becomes obvious that we need to sit down again, comparing the functions rather than just assuming that each person should keep going his way, and which is where the problem is. As it is today, what they started from as a function at that time is not what they have now, because a lot has happened. And there are more gaps, more grounds to cover. So what we need to do, there needs to be, of course, Oresanyi report gave a very vivid analysis of that, but which the implementation is not going the way it was originally recommended.
Let me talk to Dr. Kabir. We would like to get your take on what Engineer Oche says, and also let's mention what is happening right now, especially in the Federal Capital Territory. We're talking about 29 and then 40 law enforcement agencies, formal and informal, all together working assiduously, like they said repeatedly. But every time we take a daily, we're talking about kidnap, shooting, one chance, and we have so many agencies with the overlapping, which in this would be a good result. What's happening with security, especially in the FCT?
So where you have this multitude of organizations, but the glue that should hold them together is not effective, then gaps are going to be created. And when those gaps are created, the bad guys are watching and they will take advantage of those gaps. And in my honest opinion, that is what is happening. No doubt, the farther away from the city center you move, the more likely you would see a team deployment of this security personnel. Now, because there is that team deployment, the likelihood is that these bad guys would also take advantage and carry on with what they're saying. In security parlance, we say a good and effective security management system has 6 elements, and I'll quickly mention these 6 elements. We call them the 3 Ds and the 3 Rs. The ability to deter, the ability to deny, and then the ability to delay. These are the proactive elements of a good security management. So let's use Buhari as an example. If you apply these 3 principles, it means Buhari as a council area should have the ability to deny any threat element from coming there to perpetrate an incident, whatever it is. In this instance, we're discussing kidnap. And thirdly, because of the topography and the circumstances in Buhari, at the moment it's not doing that. We are talking about collaboration. Yeah. I don't see why they can't extend a handshake to the NCC, and I think it's I'm not sure who is handling the 122, but they should extend a handshake so that whenever I make road safety, whenever I make a call to that 122, if it's in FCT, it automatically goes to that command center. They don't need a separate number, because that's the reality of collaboration. Indeed. But when you now have this 3 11 digits number, I can't memorize it. That's even me that is in the urban area. Like I said, the deeper you go into the council areas, the more difficult it is for people to even understand what is happening. So that's number one, ability to carry the people along, which we are not doing very well. Then secondly, to make it easy for them to accessible. Let these security agencies be accessible to them. And I talked about traditional rulers. Our traditional rulers are very important. People respect them, people revere them. We involve them in the security architecture, then people will find it easier to engage with them, and they will be able to reach the law enforcement.
I know Nigerians are responding. They are responding, Kalma. Somebody wrote, he said, more grace to your elbow. I am Raimo Igbo. Is there any hotline that can be called if any of these agencies, these enforcement agencies, should misbehave on the road? Where can we call? For example, I think I'm not treated well by an officer of the VIO, or even police, or anybody. Is there anywhere we can call so that you will know that your officers are not behaving well? Okay.
Let me give you the call center number, which is a deviation from what he's talking about, which is it's quite long, but I think we'll still go to a drawing board to see how we can get something very short and people can always reach out to. It's 020 93 6060 46.
Okay, we'd like to take it again.
Okay. 020 93 60 6046.
Okay. Okay, so there's a question here for Dr. Kabir. It says, thank you, Dr. Kabir, for the 3 Ds and 3 Rs. Nigerians are listening. And it says, however, how do we sustainably remove corruption element that Oche rightly observes? How do we remove corruption?
I think a combination of 2 things. We need to have clear policies. So as an example, what are the offenses? And then what are the penalties? If I'm stopped and I'm wrong, let it be known to me in a very clear manner that this is the penalty for that offense that I've committed. Let it not be hidden. At the moment it's hidden if there's no clarity. Not so many people know what the penalty is for certain offenses. So that's number one. Then number two, I think technology. Technology in the sense that we're able to make payments through digital platforms. Under a national security paradigm, we need to have what we call an arbiter, but I'm looking for the right name. And the law actually provides for it. I mean, let me use probably the highest office in the country in security, the CDS's office. If I have a problem with that office, I should be able to call that arbiter and tell him that, look, this is the problem I'm having with that office. Okay. So even the National Securities Act, as an example, provides for the appointment of that role. Okay. But in the meantime, the public complaints unit is there. In most instances, if you have an encounter with any of the security agencies, any government official, you can actually write to the public complaints office and detail your complaint. That is if you are not satisfied with the internal arrangement. That
I was going to say that perhaps you give the agency an opportunity to make recompense fast before you go out. Okay, and I know you want to respond to some of what Dr. Kabir has brought up, but we'll go to Port Harcourt first, if we may, okay? We'll be right back with you. We go to Port Harcourt now. You know, we often hear about the Nigerian Navy. Do you know their role? Talk about law enforcement. That's why Port Harcourt's been doing some research. They're going to show it up now so that we can be better enlightened. Let's go to Port Harcourt.
The Navy plays an important role in securing the Nigerian waterways, being the anchor that ensures stability, safety and prosperity within the Nigerian maritime industry, which makes the sector dynamic and guided properly by laws.
Our presence, enhanced presence through this exercise has given more confidence to the merchant ships to ply their trade, including other maritime trade to prosper and to be conducted without fear of threat from any maritime criminals.
Where shall we go?
The Nigerian Navy has reinstated its commitment to ensuring that the Gulf of Guinea is safe for international trade to thrive. The sea, of course, provides the theater of operation for the troops of the Nigerian Navy to demonstrate their combat readiness towards discharging the constitutional military and security responsibilities to the nation.
There has also been a rise in oil production as a result of the efforts of our maritime security operations in collaboration with other agencies.
Institutionally, they have the mandate to make sure that they protect the territorial water of this country. And what is going on now, you see the productions of oil is going up because before this regime, I think we have 900,000 per day. But now we are getting to 1.7 million. It is based on what the Navy are doing for protection of our waterways. That's why we have this improvement of oil productions, and I believe they are going to do more. At the end of the year, we are targeting 1.9 million. So the Navy in their best.
From all indications, there has been a drastic reduction in crime rates in the Nigerian territorial waters as a result of joint maritime security operations, and the gains are being sustained.
The joint force is determined to ensure that no stone is left unturned in the fight against crude oil theft, vandalism, and other criminalities in the Niger Delta region. This can be attested to with the numerous achievements that have been recorded in the course of our operations. It will be recalled that on 15th of August 2023, own troops intercepted a vessel MV Sicilia in Port Harcourt, which was used as a storage and dispensing unit for illegally refined products. In the same vein, on 27 August 2023, another vessel, the one we are on board right now, MV Ofoma, was discovered and intercepted by own troops with more than 20,000 liters of illegally refined product suspected to be automotive gas oil in Abuloma. Other intending criminals should note that Operation Delta Save will not relent in its efforts at going after economic saboteurs and will also ensure that crude oil theft and other related crimes are eradicated within the joint operations area. We are using this medium to urge the general public to continue to support the operations with credible information.
Beyond what the Navy is doing at sea, the Navy is also involved in training and retraining of its personnel, even as it engages more hands in protecting the Nigerian territorial waters.
The Nigerian Navy keeping our waterways safe. Okay, Engineer Nyobe, I have a question for you. Please tell us in simple, clear terms what the rules of the VIO is. What's the rule? What do I expect from a VIO officer when he stops me on the road?
Okay, I wouldn't want to dwell on the fact that we're just VIO. The name of the organization is Directorate of Road Traffic Services.
Okay.
And what we do has gone beyond just vehicle inspection.
Oh.
We go beyond that. We do a whole lot. We have certain units now that have been incorporated. We have the PTMS, Public Transport Management System, which we have on board. We have the driver testing. We equally have the recovery unit. And we have the entire operations unit as well. So we equally have other supporting units like the account, finance, and all of that. The central motor registry as well. So vehicle inspection, as we already know in the past, has to do with vehicle checks and all of that. But we have actually surpassed that. And what we do is beyond that one now. Because when you see people, they just want to limit our activity to just only vehicle inspection. It's actually a unit in the DRTS. And I just want to, before I forget, let me react to what he has just said.
Okay.
As regards to getting to know what fines people should pay when they are being, when they commit any traffic violation. Our self-service portal, DRTS self-service portal, is open. People don't even check. These things are very obvious. The minister gave a very marching order for us that doing things in shady deals, he's not too comfortable with that. Put it on the electronic media so that people can access what they need to access. We want to pay for, we have all our digital platforms now up and running. You can make payments there when you're being surcharged to pay certain fines. People still want to hide against cutting corners. Maybe once they tell you that your fine is this, it takes two to tango.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so we should not shy away from the fact. Let us always demand to do the right thing. And the leadership we have now, Dr. Abdulatif Bello, the new director, is a very proactive person. He's a game changer.
Wow.
If you see some of our operations now, it is not just centered on just doing checks and all of that. We have our men scattered all over. You see pin down operation where we take care of all these illegal pick and drop off points and all of that. We are drifting away from the norms of what people used to know us for.
Okay.
We are actually building a world-class organization that it will be the envy of everybody.
Wow.
And that's what we are doing now.
And we just heard from Engineer Ayede that if we get transportation issues right, half of the challenges we face with insecurity, will be solved. It's a welcome talk. But tell us, how can that be practicalized?
Thank you very much. If you permit me to just make a clarification ahead of response to that question. We actually have a national security number code, 112, which is domiciled in the National Security Advisor. You could access it. It's toll-free. You can call for any security.
What do you call the number?
112.
That's good. Okay. We also scroll it on the screen.
Then we also have the National Road Safety Emergency number, which is 122.
Okay. And it's operational.
It's operational.
And functional.
You can call it's toll-free.
Okay.
And you can access it. They receive all calls, including security number, even though it's a road safety number. You can actually call security and they will pass it to the other one. So there's actually a handshake. Beyond that, also for road safety, the much I know.
Let's take that again. You said the first number, you said 112? Yes.
Yeah.
And tell us about that. Where is it domiciled? Then tell us about the 122 as well.
112 is domiciled at the National Security Advisor's office, and there is a control center where calls are received from across the Federation on security-related matters. And of course, they dissipate depending on what response is required. In terms of road safety, like I said, there is the National Road Safety Emergency number, which is 122. It's different from 112.
Okay.
There are two of them. And so the road safety home is available. If you call it, it goes, and they will ask you what the situation, whether it is road safety related or is security related, or is even any other issue, maybe fire in your house, and they will actually receive it and pass the message to appropriate quarters. And they have every month, they do an analysis of what calls are for security, what calls are for safety, what calls are for every other issues. And then if you go to the FRSA website, they have all the sector commanders of each state in Nigeria. Their numbers are published there. They have the CUG, the what do we call it, close user group phone numbers for everybody, and it's published there. But sometimes, of course, ability of people to know that this thing exists and then to utilize it is the gap.
Okay. Okay, good one. But you didn't get to answer what I asked you, based on what Engineer Ibe talked about, that if we solve transportation
yes,
issues,
I'm coming to that. I have said repeatedly that transport is the artery, just as you have the arteries in your body that conveys your blood. How you manage that, any small effect on your artery takes you off life. And that is what we are suffering. No efficient terrorism can take place outside transport. No efficient kidnapping can take place outside transport. And so if you deal with the basic issues in transport, you've dealt with security substantially. What that means is that we need the need to move away from the informalities that characterize our transport system. Because if anybody who can afford a car can drive and become a commercial driver, they can pick anybody, then you have a problem. But if you move away from informalities and you establish organized transport system and efficient data system exists, I have questioned severally how that these people will kidnap somebody and will be on the phone and talk with you for an entire period and nobody can trace them.
Yeah.
Means our system is not working as we think it is. Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, recently they started the construction of 6 BRTs at the same time, taking away the small tuke-tuke vehicles, private vehicles not allowed to carry passengers in the city.
Okay.
These carry-along taxis are taken off, so that buses that are in control of government hand, that have cameras in them, are the ones plying the roads.
Very good.
Once you do that, you reduce the number of, the tendencies for insecurity.
Of indiscriminate movement by these one-chance people.
Exactly.
Okay. Ask you to hold your thoughts. We'll be right back, and I'm sure some of our friends here want to contribute to this conversation. Very interesting. A break beckons, we'll take it. We'll be back. Keep the messages coming in. Welcome back. Now let's get things steamy and yummy with quick cuisine by Susan.
Today, we've got a culinary delight to kickstart your day. Please join me as I welcome Chef Kimola.
So today I'll be showing you how to make chicken peppered corn sauce and mashed potatoes. With me, I have my ingredients. Here we have the chicken thigh that I'll be using. We have the garlic and fresh thyme. We have butter, minced onions, black pepper corn sauce. We have the potato. We are using Irish potato. We have our salt here, and then we have the milk. So first of all, let's boil the potatoes. Here I already have the peeled potato in the pot. It's ready to be cooked. So I cut it in smaller bits so it will cook faster. So leave the potatoes to boil for some minutes till it becomes soft. We are not adding salt or anything. Then you add some oil to the butter so it doesn't get burnt. I'm adding my onions now. Garlic that we've minced. The aroma is already coming out as you are stir frying onions and your garlic. So at this point we'll add the peppercorn, right? It's not, if you notice, it's not just peppercorn, they've been crushed. So it's not whole. It's been crushed so the aroma can come out from it. So I'm adding the water now to deglaze this. So we are going to leave this to reduce and let the color pop out well before we add milk to thicken the sauce. At this point, we are going to add our cooking cream. This is not milk. If you notice, it is thicker than ordinary milk, right? So our cooking cream has a higher content of fat. The longer your sauce stays on heat, the thicker it becomes. If you watch this now, it's getting thicker. So you can always adjust this with more water or more chicken broth to adjust the thickness. To make our chicken, we are basically pan-searing the chicken to brown it on both sides. Again, we'll be needing butter and a little bit of vegetable oil. So our mashed potato has been boiling for a while now and it's ready to be mashed. Here I have the cream I used earlier for the peppered corn sauce, right? I'm going to infuse this milk with some fresh thyme and garlic. So I'm just going to remove this, add it inside. Both our meals are ready. We have our mashed potato and we have our chicken peppered corn sauce. Our chicken peppered sauce and mashed potatoes is ready. I hope you'll be giving this a try.
Our chicken pepper sauce with our mashed potato is ready. How do you say it? Isn't that appetizing? Who is hungry? You want to join me in the eating? Yummy and creamy. Do stay with us for more on Weekend Dew as I hand you over to the studio for the continuation of the show. See you next time.
Susie, if I didn't love you already, I love you now. But the only thing that is just working against that love to grow higher, you didn't serve us. You promised now that after the cooking, there will be the serving. But I trust you are working on it, right? Was you coming after the show? Okay, for now. You know, we've had very interesting communication from our guests. Earlier on, Naoche was talking. Can we hear something from Dr. Kabir Adamu? We've talked to many areas, transportation, security. He went all the way to Ethiopia. Tell us about buses, which we know we have begun.
It was once here in the FCT. We know Lagos is active, but not so in the other 34, 35 states of the Federation. And we know how far that can take us to another level.
Yes, I think one of the things that came to my mind, while we were discussing, is interesting that the Minister of Transportation is not part of the National Security Council, as it were, given the relevance and importance of security, of transportation to security. So perhaps that's something our legislators should also look at. If we agree that transportation is a critical component of national security, and I think it's captured in our revised national security strategy. Transportation is listed there. So perhaps maybe there is a need to have an element of the Ministry of Transport as part of our national security strategy. But having mentioned that, I think as Nigerians, we should also cooperate with the security agencies. The role they play. My work is risk management, security risk management. And I can tell you that there is no single contributor to death in the country like road-related accidents.
Really?
More people die from road-related accidents than any other factor.
In Nigeria.
It's not terrorism, it's not the diseases that are rampant there, it is road travel accident. So if we are able to improve on our road transportation systems and all components of road travel, then we're likely to reduce the fatality rate in Nigeria. And that responsibility starts with us. You just need to drive on Nigerian roads. And sometimes, honestly, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, if I stay at a traffic light or any of the junctions and I see the kind of rat race that we're in, I now tell myself, little wonder that we have the problem that we have in the country at the moment. The way people don't obey traffic rules and regulation, the way people don't maintain their vehicles. Somebody will be using a tire for 4 or 5 years or even longer than that until the wires are coming out.
They will tell you it's the economy. They will tell you it's the economy. All right, we are practically wrapping up our show now, and then we'll give a chance for our wonderful guests who have been educating us to tell us their goodbyes with their parting words. Let me start with engineer.
Okay, I want to leave you with this last word, that in this year 2024, our activity is going to be more of e-driven policy than what we have before. And we'll ensure that people will reduce that interface we used to have with our personnel, so that these bad memes and all of that will be a thing of the past. And I want to advise, people should always do the right thing. Because once you do that, you may not have issues with our people.
Dr. Adamu?
One phrase, trust is good, but control is better. So in other words, let's open our eyes and let's contribute. Let's not be docile citizens. Obey the law, contribute, go on social media where you need to talk, but please be positive about it, don't be toxic about it.
Good.
Thank you very much. I would like to emphasize the need, in conclusion, that you cannot appoint a lawyer to head Ministry of Health. It's the same thing, you can never get transport right if you think transport is a general studies. It's a general program that anybody can be appointed to lead it.
Okay.
And the more you bring in professionals to manage system, programs, and policies, the better it is for us.
Okay, let's hold our hands. We often do it together. Okay? Yeah. We're loving together. Nigerians, when you see something, say something. These miscreants are in our neighborhoods. They are there perpetrating violence and decimating our citizenry. Speak up and speak out to the right channels. God bless Nigeria.